beautiful people. What is going on? It's your girl, Phoenix Soul.
What it do? It's your boy, Frederic.
And it's RSVP. We're talking all things love, sex, and relationships.
Absolutely.
And today, we're talking about emotional intelligence.
Here we are again. How do we find ourselves with these topics?
You know, chopping it up, us chatting, living life as well. You know what I mean? Like, I think emotional intelligence has been something that has been popping up pretty frequently for me in like my relationships and friendships.
That's deep.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I'm a pretty calm person overall, I think, you know? And so I'm developing the ability to like remain like super calm within stress, like during stressful times or like heated conversations, because I've experienced them, and like learning how to shift the energy and find common ground in them. But it's definitely challenging because, you know, emotional intelligence has to be present on both parts.
For sure. So by popping up, you're saying that what has been popping up is the lack thereof, the lack of emotional maturity in these scenarios and situations.
Yeah, I guess you can say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the only real way. That's the only way you really see it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're without.
I mean, I don't know if like
Now you see it
that's
if it works, but like in your face, it's like, oh.
yeah. Well, in your face is like being a Jedi Knight.
Mm.
Like you really have to be a master because that involves like breathing in, not taking things personal, really listening, being present,
For sure.
not being triggered.
So what's happened?
I mean, I feel like I have like tools now to be more grounded in myself.
Okay.
You know, like, okay, breathing in is big, like breathing and like being really, really present. Because when you're in a like heated discussion, then somebody could say something that you feel is completely not true or against what you know. So the not taking it personal piece, really learning not to take things personal.
That's major. That's big. Understanding and knowing that like they're saying what they're saying, but that need not be taken as an attack on you.
For sure. Exactly. Like, and that is understanding like, okay, you're going to come from where you're coming from. You are who you are. You have the experiences that you have. That makes up Frederic. I'm Phoenix, come from where I come from, have had the experience that I've had, and that's making up me. Nobody's right or wrong here. There's no, you don't hate me. You're not trying to kill me.
No, not at all.
You know what I mean? So like I can drop that defense,
Yeah.
right? Like, and like we can find common ground because I know who you are. I know, you know what I mean, where you come from. And so if there's a difference of opinion, then I have to open myself up to listening, hearing, and then find, it's Jedi Knight.
Absolutely. You know what I feel like I've worked past?
What?
Cause I love getting loud on you real quick.
You do?
'Cause who you think you talking to?
That's deep.
You feel me? But you
I
know,
never-
that's not always the best. That's not the best. I'm saying that's,
So
that's
do you-
like, that's like some New York stuff.
Facts.
You think I can't hit you with some Dame Dash?
Damn.
All right.
Is that emotionally intelligent?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why. So like in college, I'll be watching the videos, right?
Right.
The old videos.
Right.
Man, me in college, yes, I want to walk into this boardroom and tell all y'all about yourselves.
Right.
But you know, at this, you know, you grow up and it's like, man, probably shouldn't.
Probably
like that.
shouldn't do that.
Shouldn't do that.
So they said that emotional intelligence is the secret to long-lasting relationships.
I believe that because like that's emotional intelligence is you doing your own work.
Facts.
Your own internal work, so that ideally when we get to the situation, you know, I'm not hitting you with the Dame Dash.
Facts.
You know, we could actually talk this out, and yeah.
So with
Just like not everybody is, I don't know, Kim Kardashian, just to say someone. Not every
Okay.
woman is her. Not every woman is in that position. Not every woman could ask. She can make certain asks and requests that you kind of just have to like move with it. And it's like,
Okay.
yeah, not everybody is a Dame Dash, a Steve Stout, a whoever who has the ability to like stake a claim, and you kind of either do it or you gotta go. Most
Yeah.
people, I feel like,
I don't even think they have that freedom.
I
That may
mean,
be the perception.
maybe perhaps, but like with money comes certain things that like,
I get it.
you know what I'm saying, if you pay for everything happening in the room, you kind of have to say what happens in the room.
Right.
You
I get
feel me?
that.
Most people, though, I feel like just thrust themselves upon everybody as if I need to do and like, as if you hold the same weight.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like societally there is a mindset that's self-centric,
Mm-hmm.
and so we're all stars, right? So
100%.
everybody has to adhere, But that emotional intelligence piece is so huge. Like one of the articles that I came across was talking about like how democracy is kind of at stake because of the degree of emotional immaturity in the United States,
Mm.
and how it's a necessity for there to be a democratic union for a high degree of emotional intelligence to be present. Not only with those that are making decisions, but also with the society at large. And we have not continued to evolve in maturity.
100%. So, I like to say all the time that each and every one of us, I'm my own ecosystem.
Yeah,
You're your own ecosystem,
for
right?
sure.
We're a part of the ecosystem, the greater ecosystem as a whole, right? But oftentimes, what happens is I have my desires, my wants, and my needs. So I'm out here in the world pushing my desires, my wants, my needs. You might be doing the same thing. Our wants, our needs may not align. You feel me? So in regards to like the self, yeah, I'm out here trying to get mine. But when it comes to society, we gotta be more than not on the same page.
Right. That's so primitive though. Like my, me. Like, how did we go from having community, having ecosystems, thinking about each other to
I'll tell you right now, these phones and the social media, because I think it's really a joke because they're intended to build community. But again, and not to fully take it away, because you can build community,
for
but I
sure
think the majority of the people are not using it as a tool. They're
as a
using
tool
it
to
as they have no purpose with it. What they're doing is what is technically quote unquote the point of it, to scroll and post.
right.
But outside of scrolling and posting, they have no real use for it.
But again,
So that just leaves them to be their regular human selves and be stuck on how this person's life looks versus my life, and like they're doing so well versus what I got. And unless I've worked through enough, I'm also bringing that onto it, which is, you feel me?
we're not
Talking
inspired to
down.
evolve though as human beings. Like you can shift up your algorithm. I've done it a number of times where if we're not pleased with the type of things that are coming to us, like, and we have the desire to change things up, like how are we not evolving? That's crazy. It with all the tools to evolve, with all the tools to be greater, we gonna
What
be
pushes
emotionally primitive.
what pushes you to do that though? What pushes you to do that?
I want to grow. I want to expand. I want to be better.
What's
I
wrong
want
with
more.
what's wrong with this?
It's cool. Nothing. I'm grateful. But there's always the desire for greater expansion. Isn't that like that's human nature? You're gonna have, okay, boom. You like, yo, I want this car. You get the car. You've had the car for 2 years. When you first get the car, you love it. It's incredible. Like you driving it around, it's woo woo. After a while, you've had it. So your mind may be fixed on something else, or you're grateful to have your vehicle, but you're not this me forever, you know?
After that, you have greater aspirations.
Clearly, like I think that's a human thing.
Yes, certain humans versus all humans.
That's
Because
deep.
you could very well be okay. You got the car.
It's not
I'm. Let me say this. So like, not too long ago, right? I had the privilege, if you will, to start and operate a car rental company, right?
facts.
Which exposed me to vehicles of a different class, right?
Right.
I8s, Lamborghinis, Rolls Royces, this and the third.
For sure.
And in that, I realized that. So prior to that, I always wanted a Maserati, right? In
Really?
that, yes, for some. Well, I know why. The reason why is because how they're presented, how they're positioned. They seem luxurious, right? The script
Kind
is
of,
like
sort of, but not really.
because there's levels compared
Facts.
to a lower
Rolls.
tier,
Right.
like I don't know, a smaller Lexus. I mean, an Infinity, if you will, like compared. That's somewhere to aspire to, right? But then I got exposed, and then I realized that a Maserati or whatever isn't really it.
It's not hitting.
It's really not. That even with the i8, nice vehicle,
The I8
cool.
was
You know what I'm saying?
the
Like, I
I8 was an
remember,
eye catcher.
yes, and it was cool.
It
But
was
even
fire.
then, that's not a Lamborghini
Facts. It's not. It
at
wasn't
all.
heavy.
No,
It was really light.
it was cute. It was nice.
It was cute.
It was,
That was
it
fly.
was nice.
Yeah.
But then, to round it out,
Okay.
round it back, we are people that aspire to things.
But that's not natural for humans to aspire.
No, I feel like what are the needs that we all need? Roof, shelter, water, clothing, I guess. I don't know. The needs, the regular
okay.
shit, basic needs, right?
Food.
Right. A lot of people are cool once they have those checked off.
That's wild.
Do I
I
need
don't
a
believe
flyer,
that.
fancier car? No, not really. Do you need it? Does anyone need it? No, they just need wheels. They just need to be able to go over there and go to the supermarket.
So you're
and
saying
come
people are
back.
just naturally just comfortable being where they are.
A lot of people
and
are, yeah.
have no desire to aspire for anything greater.
A lot of people have never left their town. I'm from New York. A lot of people have never left their borough. Their borough.
That's so true.
You feel me?
But is that not desire? Or is that just fear?
What's there to be fearful of? You just hop on the train
But
and go down.
it depends on where you come from. It depends on what your mama said. Don't go out there because you know what they're doing over there. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that your parents give you the drive as well. Like my dad was in the military, so we traveled, lived all over the world. So I want the world. Fuck the slice. I want the pie. But that was my vision as a child. Like it's a world vision. So I think our parents absolutely play a role in like your desire to get out there and make it happen, or at least like pouring that into you that you can, versus just like saying like stay here and be comfortable with me.
See, I think that's very interesting because yes, now that doesn't solely come from your parents. So I
True.
understand the concept of nature and nurture. So like for me, my parents never gave me that.
Yeah.
My parents, however, what they did give me is a visual into a life and a world, and then me on my side, I'm like, oh man, now there's more.
Yeah. For sure.
I can't live like this.
Facts.
They didn't show me more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Facts.
when I went to go get the cars, that was me. That wasn't knowledge from my father.
But in a sense it was, because you just said that you were given the inspiration to desire more, even amidst not, you know what I mean, whatever it was. There was something about that situation was like, you know what, I need more. But that came from the setting and the surroundings that you were in. Like, I need more. Like,
true. I'll say this too, like, your parents ultimately are just people.
Yeah.
Parents are people much like everybody else around you.
Facts.
People that also have to work through things, people that have their own limiting beliefs.
Mhm.
So all of it is really like individually rooted in terms of like what you do with your life.
Yeah.
Cause like even when
Yeah.
I was so boom, so taking flights, right? Catching flights.
Catching flights.
Here's what I thought I had recently. I'm not gonna lie to you. When they come out with teleportation,
I'm so excited about that.
it's over. I'm selling a kidney if I need to because catching flights, it sounds cute, but I'm not. Listen,
You not with it?
who? Why?
You
Why?
don't like catching
That's not the
flights?
best part of the trip.
It
The
is.
best
It's the
part of the trip is when
excitement.
I get there.
Yeah, it's the excitement
I'm
though.
just trying to pop up. No, miss me with the whole
Okay, so you're not with.
airline
Okay.
waiting and all that. No,
Okay.
but I spoke to my mother and I told her the same thing, right?
Yeah.
And she was like, love her, but she was like, why would you do that when you could just not take trips?
Really?
Who doing that?
What you mean? What she?
Why would you sell your kidney to teleport when you could just
Oh,
not?
that's what she said.
If
That's
you
what.
don't want to take a flight, just don't take a trip. No, fam.
I still
No,
want to
I would.
go. I just don't
Yes,
want to go that way.
exactly. You feel me?
Facts.
So that's an extreme. I likely wouldn't do that, but it's also I would also not be of the mindset just don't take a trip.
Facts.
You feel me?
That's mentality.
So all these experiences are cumulative, but your parents, sure, they do show you, but they show you how not to move as well.
Oh, for certain.
You feel me?
For certain. So let's talk about emotional maturity in like relationships and like dating. Like
Yes.
from the male perspective, like how is that out here dealing with women and their emotions? Is it easy? I mean, that's probably not the best word to use, but
Now I get the question, but I think it boils down to your own decision making and who you picking.
okay.
Like for example, I had an incident earlier this year.
Okay.
The incident I told you about was a real incident. It just wasn't like at the day job.
Right.
So boom.
Right. I remember the incident actually.
Oh damn. This was months ago, y'all. So boom. What had happened, or as much as I'm gonna say, was we was at the spot and she got upset. But I still need to go back inside to continue working.
Okay.
Which means I cannot stay out here to continue to
This
have
conversation.
this conversation with you. It don't matter if you're not gonna talk to me. If I walk away, I still gotta go inside.
You gotta work.
So I gotta go, right? So now for me to tell you that there's a meeting, I gotta go do something. I'm not just leaving to go to the store or like to the restaurant or back to the bar or something. I tell you that and I leave, I gotta go, and then you proceed to call me nonstop while I'm in said meeting. That's an emotionally immature individual.
Facts.
You feel me? Because we can't finish this convo. I'm inside. I gotta go. You know I'm in here.
Yeah.
So you gonna do that with this. If you do it this time, you're gonna do it.
You're gonna do it again.
You're gonna do it again.
It's just what you do. That's interesting. That makes a lot of sense because like I was listening to something, I don't remember what it was, and it talked about how like I've been in situations like with some of my friends that are, my female friends where like I'll tell the truth about something that I think is my perspective, and like they don't agree with it, or makes them feel some kind of way, and then like they want to just not be friends. Let's just not be friends because there's not the emotional maturity is not present, or the desire to like take accountability or to see things from another perspective. So I think that that's something overall that like we have to work on. But I told you about this earlier. Like I did some research, and Harvard Business Review talked about how women in leadership is happening, but it's not happening at like the greatest pace because, those in leadership feel that they have to change the feedback, the performance feedback for women. So like I think that there is a shift that is happening right now and that really needs to happen. Definitely like starting at parenting, because I think parents, little girl falls and little boy is there. What happened? What did he do? Or what, you know what I'm saying? There's like the coddling versus like really like understanding and giving direction from there. And like it starts at a young age and we never really learn how to like receive like constructive criticism, and it becomes a defense versus just being something that everybody needs some constructive criticism to get better.
Sure.
And so like I think that emotions get wrapped in that, like for women, and not being able to separate the two.
I think yeah, constructive feedback. That's what you said.
Yeah.
Yes, because I think like in relationships, we are of course two people, ecosystems,
Facts.
two ecosystems trying to merge, right?
For sure.
And not to say that, never to say that things will ever be just perfect, like just like seamless.
For sure.
Ideally, they are more than not. And not to say that I might be living my life in a way or doing certain actions that are not coherent, if you will.
Okay.
Doesn't gel well.
Okay.
With me now trying to merge with you.
Yeah.
In this life. But there should at least be able to have a space to discuss these things.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
And if it's a character thing, if it's distrust in the union or whatever, that's one thing. But if it's like little adjustments, personal adjustments, that would make my life with you easier or your life with me easier, I think we should be able to receive those, digest, ingest, and adjust where needed.
Yeah, I think it's definitely like those personal adjustments, and like all things trickle into all things. One of my mentors was like, how you do anything is how you do everything. And that's so real. So like if that shows up, the inability to receive constructive feedback shows up here, that's going to show up over there.
Got to.
And that's going to end up being a hindrance, cuz like my friend is incredible. She has an incredible support system around her, but it's like, do you have a support system of people to tell you the truth? Otherwise, you just have a support system of people that, want to coddle you. And I like having that trust in knowing that what's around me is going to be like, hey, if I'm acting buck ass wild out here, like you're gonna pull me to the side and be like, you straight? I hear you now. You know what I mean? Like, is everything good? You good? Like, and we need that. Like everyone just coddling your feelings is not going to assist in your greatness. Because when you get out here in the real world, people don't give a shit about how you feel. Like I genuinely, people care, but that's not what we're here for. We may be here for this, and like, let's hone in and focus on that. But I do think that it is like a personal responsibility where we are being called to really mature.
No, facts. Lack of it is really just being in our own way.
For sure.
Right? Because the lack of the maturity, right, will then lead you to respond to certain situations differently. Like the opportunity that I did recently in LA. Lack of emotional maturity, I feel like, would have then led me to possibly be overly anxious and antsy and trying to get more answers than I actually had.
Okay.
Going into it.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
'Cause Because if I was running the show, it probably would have been handled things
It would have been
differently.
differently.
But it's not my show. So I could only move in accordance with how it's moving.
I got you.
You feel me?
For sure.
I could have played myself out of a position. A lot of people
Play themselves out of position.
You feel me?
Yes, and I want to speak to that because that comes from not reading the room.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody want to be a chief, but to be the greatest chief, you have to observe the Indians.
Fact.
If you have no clue what's happening in the space, you don't know how to maneuver it. You're just moving on what you think is what it is, which is very much so not what it is. We have to have the ability to look into like the broader perspective, what's happening here, and then be able to serve from that space versus the need to control the outcome. That definitely displays, the emotional image because you're rigid in who you think you need to be and who others need to be for you.
Yup.
So deep. This is deep. We could go on and on about this.
This was a good one. No.
This was definitely a good one.
We should do this.
We'll part two this because I got some stories
You know
I
what I'm
want to
saying?
share.
Check back in with us.
RSVP, y'all. It's your girl, Phoenix Soul.
It's Frederique. You know what it is.
Peace and love.